So here's the emotional wheel. If you look down the center, you will notice 6 different key emotional states. From there, it branches off into sub-emotions. If you look at mad, for example, you'll experience hurt, hostile, anger, rage, hateful, irritated, furious, frustration, selfishness, jealousy. Follow along that wheel, and on its opposite end, you'll see how things change dramatically. What I would like you to do is I'd like you to take a look at the wheel, and I want you to find where you find yourself the most. Of course, it can change throughout the day or throughout the weeks. But where do you find yourself most in life? This is the chart that I have come up with, called Emotions and Our Choices. You'll notice that I've separated them into 3 different areas for good reason. I want you to begin by looking at the center in brown, a neutral color labeled neutral. From here, you can go up or down. They begin going up or down through small emotional changes. If you make your way down, you'll see fear, small things. These are the little things. Afraid of taste, what things might taste like. Afraid of missing your show, what people are going to say about you. Is there going to be a little consequence to your actions? Are you going to be ridiculed? And it goes down from there. Confusion, fear, protection. Now it's important to note here that the moment you go into fear 1, a survival mechanism begins. This is where the body begins to shut things down. Adrenaline gets produced. The body and mind begin to focus only on how to tackle the situation at hand. Fear number 2 is obviously a more intense fear. Anger, guilt, fear, a high level of fear. You'll notice that fear is arranged throughout the whole thing. It's other charts that I have seen, fear has been placed in one area. But the reality is all of this area is fear-based. Why are we angry? At its core, there's fear. Guilt, there's fear. Sadness, there's fear. What are we protecting? What are we afraid to lose? Sadness, hopelessness, depression. I want you to notice here in sadness, the color changes to a dark gray and black. Once you've reached this level, you are in a completely different area, and it's harder to get up. Numbness, helplessness, apathy. This is no good. I can't do it. Things are just going to keep going wrong, and you don't see your way out of it. Eventually, you reach the question of life or death. And yes, I am speaking of suicide. Notice on the opposite end, we have love, small scale love. These are the things that make us happy. Little things like, I like my coffee in the morning. I like my warm shower. I like my TV show. I like my car. I like my friends. I like my job. There's a happiness that comes with that. Satisfaction. Self-empowerment. This is a great place to be. Moving up, we have awareness. Now look at awareness. I've colored it differently. It is black and white. That is because at this point, you begin to realize that the whole universe, the whole reality that you live in is contrast. Black and white. 3 dimensions. Forward, backward. On, off. Up, down. Happiness, sadness. The whole reality, your whole experience has contrast. Once you hit a state of awareness on a higher scale like this, you then are able to reach the higher levels much easier. Not saying that you couldn't do it on a lower scale, but it's much easier to follow up the scale to peacefulness, appreciation, and compassion. Now, appreciation and compassion, ironically, you'll need to have experienced the lower levels of emotion. To have compassion, you must experience guilt and anger and fear and sadness. To have appreciation, you must experience those same things. Joy and happiness in the dictionary are synonyms. They're the same, but I wanted to use joy here because it expresses a higher level of happiness. True joy is amazing. And serenity I have here as the highest level of understanding. It's blitz. It's a total enlightenment. You can give it whatever name you like, but it's right there at the top. Now, of course, the numbers for each row for choices is not completely accurate. It's just a chart to explain that there are more choices as you move up the scale. The suicide, you only have 2 choices, live or die. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't experience anger if you're in complete joy. It only takes a certain experience and then you'll be down in anger. However, if you find yourself mostly in the area on the higher levels of emotion, it is easier to manage your anger. It is easier to move up the scale. Once you are in the lower levels, you are always hanging around there. You hover around this area. This is your comfort zone. You can experience happiness. You can experience joy and compassion, but it draws you easier right back down into the negative area. Most people, most of the time, are in that middle area between confusion and self-empowerment. Teenagers are often in a state of fear 1 and confusion. They go to school having to deal with many social challenges, as we do as adults. Since the dawn of society, there's always been those who are up at the top of power and those who are at the bottom. We have been dealing with social games daily throughout our entire lives, always trying to move up at the scale, and those who are up at the top, they would like to remain there. This is humanity of our day. If everyone was on the higher level, there would not be any need for fear. There is no fear here. The whole world, humanity, would be in an amazing place to be. There are those who experience happiness and fear at the same time. Thrill seekers, for example, they respect the danger that can come with the activity that they're doing. Because the adrenaline is there, what happens is the narrowing of the choices when you're in a survival mode for high impact survival situations. There are a few choices, but often they are the best ones. If you remain constantly on the lower end, your body begins to decay. Because things are shut down, not everything works the way it's supposed to work in your body. Your cells don't get enough oxygen. You might get sick faster. Often people who are in this area do feel sick a lot. They feel pain throughout their body. This is a slow process of body decay. The longer you're in this area, the less lifespan you're going to have. Your body starts to break down. One action creates another action, just like a car where one part breaks, the rest starts to follow. So it is important to get yourself out of the lower plane whenever you can. So if there's one thing I would like you to get out of this chart, is that no matter how far down the scale you go, there are always more choices than what you imagine. You just can't see them. Take a look at this chart. Find out where you are most of the time. By being in a positive state, you actually create a positive world around you. It's simple like that. It's hard to describe how it happens, but it just does. It works in your favor. The choices that become available to you, you see them, and you see them a lot more clearly. It's part of enlightenment. That's the way it goes. And you see them and you follow the path to where you want to see your life go. And life becomes happier. The people that you meet are happier. If you're positive is stronger than someone's negative, you will bring them up. But of course, if someone's negative is stronger than your negative, it will bring you down. So you have to make a choice depending on what you want to deal with. Perhaps you want to escape that person and move on, or you want to help that person move up, and that becomes part of your experience there. Look, life isn't always easy, but it doesn't always have to be that challenging either. Have fun with life. Enjoy life. I wish you well. Take care. Thank you for watching. If you want to see something a little bit more exciting, go on to part 2. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you like, make a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you came here through other means other than YouTube, then feel free to grab the address from the address bar and share it by pasting it to whatever link you want to. Also, you can join me on my Facebook page. I'll have that in the description below.